This conference will now be recorded.
Hi Deepa, good morning. Hi Sai Teja, Taruni, welcome to the session. So let's start today's session. So today's plan is to start practicals of Kubernetes, isn't it? So we are done with theory. So we should discuss about the practicals and experience, how exactly the pods get created,
For
how
yesterday
exactly
class,
the
you
pod.
didn't share.
I've not shared the mail.
No, I didn't get that.
Okay. Okay, I'll share it today. Yesterday's session as well as today's session. I'll do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
video uploading also very late, sir. They're taking after 24 hours, more than 24 hours.
Okay. Oh, today they have uploaded yesterday's video.
No, no,
They have not uploaded till now.
no, not yet, not uploaded.
Okay, I will check. I'll check that. Okay. And running notes, yesterday's one as well as today's one. I'll be sending you both.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So we have learned pod, nodes, cluster. So let's proceed practicals and experience how exactly pods can be created. Inside the pods, as I said, containers will be created. Let's experience the node, how exactly pods will be running on nodes. What are the commands related to Kubernetes? All this will be seeing practicals on, we know on which platform. As you all know, we'll be doing it in Google Cloud platform. So let's first log into Google Cloud. What is the first step as part of working with Kubernetes? So first step, what we need to do, as we all know, we need to create a cluster first, isn't it? And what is service involved to practice Kubernetes? The service which is involved is Kubernetes engine, Google Kubernetes engine, isn't it? In Google Kubernetes engine, the first step what I'm doing is I'm creating a cluster. Create a cluster. Take the default options, default zones. Don't worry about this and create a cluster. We have seen yesterday how to create a cluster. Let's proceed. This will take 2 minutes of time to create a cluster. And by default, the size of this cluster is how many nodes? We have seen this yesterday. This is a cluster which gets created with 3 nodes. This will be a cluster with a combination of 3 nodes, and each node will have how many CPUs? You will have 2 CPUs, and each node will have 4 GB of RAM. So total you will have 12 GB memory for this allocated to this particular cluster. Meanwhile, let's proceed with some concepts which we need to keep in mind before creating a node. Last session, we have created a node by using a command, but as I said, that's not the right way of creating a node. We need to always create a node by using a definition file. So let's learn how can we create a definition file. Okay. Now, so what all you can create in Kubernetes? Okay. So Kubernetes uses various types of objects. We have pod. Anyways, today we'll be learning how to create a pod. We'll be learning how to create a service object. We'll be learning how to create namespace, secrets, replica sets, deployment. So all this we'll be learning in pod in Kubernetes. Pod, we had enough discussion about pod. This is a layer of abstraction on top of a container. Smallest object what Kubernetes can work on. In the pod, we have a container, we know it. kubectl is a command that will work on pods to create communication between the pod as well as a container. So finally, we using a call called as kubectl. This is the command we'll be using it today. That's about pod, we already know it. Let's have some understanding about service object used for performing port mapping. Network load balancing can be done by using service object. Namespace, this is used for creating partitions in a cluster. By default, all the pods runs in one partition that's called as a default namespace. But if you want, you can create one more partition inside a cluster that's called as partition is called as a namespace. You can have multiple partitions, assuming partition 1, partition 2. It's nothing but namespace 1 and namespace 2. You can create 2-3 pods in namespace 1, 2 pods in namespace 2. So pods running in the names in a particular namespace cannot communicate with other pods running in a different namespace. Namespace is a partition, so pods of one namespace cannot be communicated to pods of other namespace. If you want this kind of communication to be breaked, in that case, we'll be creating a namespace. We'll see practicals again. Secrets is used for security. It is used for passing encrypted data to pods, so that's used for higher security. Replica set is all about load balancing, used for mapping multiple replicas of a pod to perform activities like load balancing and auto scaling. Replica set is for load balancing and auto scaling. Deployment used for performing activities on that a replica set can do. It is handling rolling updates. Whenever you want to perform rolling updates in Docker Swarm, we have seen it. That is possible by using deployment object. Okay, so let's proceed with creating a cluster. So yes, cluster is ready now. I'll be opening the Cloud Shell. That's nothing but a terminal. This is the Cloud Shell activate button, which helps you to activate the Cloud Shell terminal. Terminal is open. I want to connect to the cluster. Connect. Copy the command. Command is copied. Authorize it. Yes, you are connected to cluster. We have created cluster, and using the Cloud Shell terminal, we have connected to cluster. It's a new cluster, fresh cluster, which we have created. Am I right? Fine. Look at this. Command to create a pod. We have seen this. kubectl run -image is the command to create a pod. But this is we have seen this command, so we will not be using this command now. This is how to delete the pod. This is to create a pod again. Yes. Look at this. This is important. Kubernetes performs container orchestration. This is not the right way. No, this is the right way. Kubernetes performs container orchestration by using definition files. By using definition files. Definition files are nothing but YAML files. So if you want to create pods, create controller sets, whatever of components we have discussed, you need to write a definition file. The definition files are nothing but YAML files. And the definition file will have 4 top elements. If you look at the definition file, you'll find these elements. API version, kind is nothing but the kind of the object which you're planning to create. Metadata, more information about the object. Specification is about the details about the container. Using these 4 elements, we'll be creating definition file. Using these 4 elements, we'll be creating the definition file. So let's have a brief understanding about each and every element, starting with the API version. Depending upon the Kubernetes object which we want to create. What is a Kubernetes object? Kubernetes object can be a pod, Kubernetes object can be a service object, Kubernetes object can be a replica set, Kubernetes object can be a secret, Kubernetes object can be deployment. Depending upon the Kubernetes object which we want to create, there is a corresponding libraries which we will use it. You need to use some libraries if you want to create some Kubernetes object. That API version refers to the library which you want to use. If you're creating a pod, you need to use an API version, in other words, library v1. You need to refer to the API version v1. Then only you can create a pod, otherwise you cannot create a pod. So the libraries involved in creating a pod will be available in this API version v1. For service, for namespace, for secrets, for all these 4 components, you will be using the API version v1. If you want to create replica set and deployment, you should not use API version v1. You need to use an API version apps/v1. So this you need to keep in mind when you're creating a definition file. You need to keep in mind when you're creating a definition file. Let's proceed. API version, we had understanding. So API version refers to the libraries which we should use. Kind, what does kind refers to? Kind element refers to the Kubernetes object which you want to create. A kind can be pod, kind can be replica set, kind can be service, kind can be namespace. Kind refers to what kind of object you want to create, that you should mention it in the kind element. Metadata, as the name suggests, provides more information about the object. Metadata contains additional information about the Kubernetes object. What if you're creating a pod, metadata contains what is the name of the pod, what is the label of the pod. So this kind of information should be stored in the metadata component. Specification section, inside the pod, finally what happens? Technically what is running? Container is running. So what container you want to run? That should be mentioned in the specification section. So contains Docker container related information about what image you want to use. If you want to use any environment variable, do you want to perform port mapping? All this information you need to mention in a specification file. So you will be creating a definition file using these four elements. API version is refers to the library which you want to use, kind, metadata, specification. Now let's use these 4 elements. Let's create a definition file. I have already connected to shell, connected to my cluster. Yes. I have already connected to my cluster. Let's create a directory. Any directory name can be anything. So I'm creating a directory called new files. Okay, all directory already exists. Okay, I already have created. So let's proceed to previous directory. I'm creating a file directory called sample. Okay. Create a pod definition file to start Nginx pod. I want to start Nginx pod. Name of the pod should be Nginx-pod. This is the name of the pod which I have created. Name of the container should be app server. So I want to create a pod. Whenever you want to create a pod, you need to use 4 components as I told you before. API version, kind, metadata, specification. Look at this definition file. API version, kind, metadata, specification. This is called as a definition file, which contains about what you want to do. What do you want to manifest? File name can be anything. It's our wish. File name can be anything. I want to create a file with the name pod definition, not 111.yaml. Any name you can write. I want to, what kind of object we are creating in this definition file? What kind of object you are creating in this definition coined, I have mentioned it as pod. So that means you should understand that this definition file is creating a pod. For pod, what is the API version we should use? We already have taken a note of it. For pod, the API version what you should use is v1. So that's the reason I have used v1. Metadata contains information about the pod. What is the name of the pod? Name can be anything. You can write your name also. I want to name the pod as Nginx pod. Fine. Under metadata section, you will have a child element called labels. You can write any meaningful information under the labels. For example, author, you can write the name of the organization, or you can write your name, who is creating the definition file. Type, what I'm creating a Nginx server. Nginx is a reverse proxy server. So I'm writing it as type as reverse proxy. You can write anything. Key value based. Don't think keys are predefined. Keys are also user defined. And the labels, you can write project. I'm using it for US project or whatever it is. You can write it. These labels are helpful for perform group activities. What is the use of this label? That is optional. Labels are optional. In future, you can use these labels to perform group activities. For example of group activity is something like, I want to delete all the pods. I want to delete all the pods whose author is Durgasoft. You have pod 1, pod 2, pod 3, pod 4. Every pod will have its own name. That's okay. You want to perform group activities. You want to delete all the pods whose author is Durgasoft. So that is possible when you have a label. That's the advantage of having a label. You can perform group activities. So labels are user defined. That's fine. API, 4 more main elements: API version, kind, metadata. I have understood. Specification section. Specification section contains what container you want to create. Is it under containers? I want to provide a name of the container as app server, and obviously container needs to be created using an image. I'm using an Nginx image. It's nothing but the Docker image. Clear? Clear about this? The first definition file which you're planning to create. So let's proceed. Insert mode. Copy. Escape to come out of the insert mode, :WQ, save and quit. My definition file is ready. Pod-definition 11.yaml file is ready. Next, what you need to do? Run the definition file. What happens when we run the definition file? As per the definition file, pod gets created. That pod contains what container? Nginx container. Okay, how can we run the definition file? kubectl is the command to run the definition file. kubectl is a command which helps you to run the definition file. kubectl create -f refers to file system. What's the name of the file? Pod definition 11.yaml, isn't it? When you run this, what will happen? The definition file gets executed, and what will be created? Obviously, the pod gets created. Observe. Pod created. Yes, because in the definition file you want to create a pod, right? So that's the reason pod got created. See, I want to see list of all the pods now. In our cluster, the first time we have connected to cluster and I have created a pod. I want to see the pods, list of all the pods. To get the list of all the pods, kubectl get pods is the command. To see list of all the pods. Yes. What's the name of the pod which has created? Nginx pod, because you have named the same. Nginx pod. This is the name of the pod which is created. Only one pod created. What is the run status? It's running. Pod has been created. Kubectl get pods is a command to see list of all the pods. Fine, pod is created. Okay. This cluster which we have created is of how many nodes? 3 nodes. The cluster is created using how many nodes? 3 nodes. Fine. We have created one pod. You want to know on which node the pod is running. Is it running on node 1? Is it running on node 2? Is it running on node 3? Which node has taken the load? Can we know that? Yes, you can know that. Get pods will get is just information about the pods, but you will not get on which node it is running. You want to get more information about the pods. We should use kubectl get pods. To get the list of pods along with the IP addresses of which the node, IP address of the node which the pod is running. Kubectl get pods -o stands for output. Wide output will give you more information about the pod. Same command -o stands for output, wide output. I'm showing you wide output. This helps you to understand. Same pod, same status. So first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same. You get additional output. Every pod will have its own IP address. That's fine. Node information. This pod is running on which node? This node. Pod is running on this particular node. Take a note of the node. I just wanted to take a note of the node. Okay. This is just for a reference purpose. I'm taking note. On this node, it's running. Clear? Clear about this? So we have learned how to create a definition file. Definition file contains 4 top level elements: API version, kind, and metadata, spec. API version refers to libraries, kind refers to what kind of object, metadata, more information about the object, specification is actually the container which you want to create inside the pod. And you have seen how to create a pod, how to get the list of all the pods, how to know in which node the pod is running. If you want to delete the pod, to delete the pod created from the above definition file, kubectl delete -f is a command. Create f to create the pod. Delete f to delete the pod. Which pod? What's the name of the definition file? 11. Am I right? Let's delete this. Pod deleted. Done. Pod deleted. Now, if you see kubectl get pods, no resources found. Pods not available. We have created a pod, and we also have learned how to delete the pod. The first experiencing about how to create a pod, as you know, the atomic object, what Kubernetes can create, and pod can create a pod contains a container, and we have experienced how it looks like. Let's look at one more example. Let's look at one more example. Okay. I want to create Postgres pod. Postgres is a database. We have created Nginx pod, created Postgres pod. Every definition file will have how many elements? Keep in mind 4 elements. Let's have a quick review of the 4 elements. API version, kind, metadata, specification. You want to create what pod? Postgres pod. Postgres pod contains what? Obviously, pod contains container. What container you want to create? You want to create a container based on Postgres. What is this Postgres? Is the name of the image. From where the image will be downloaded? We all know where the image will be downloaded. Image will be getting it from up.docker.com. When you are creating a container, it's good practice, as I told you before also, you need to look at the documentation. You need to look at the documentation. This is the official image of Postgres. When you want to use this particular image to create a container, you need to use environment variables. How to use this image? Environment variables. You need to use Postgres password. Obviously, when you're creating a database, you need to provide the password. You need to provide the user. You need to create a database, default database. 3 environment variables. You need to use it. That's all part of the Docker. That's part of Docker. That you need to handle in which section? Obviously, in the specification section. Specification section contains the information about the Docker container. So that's all mentioned in the specification section. So API, okay, as you are creating a pod, API version should be v1. What kind of object you are planning to create pod? Metadata contains more information about the pod. What's the name of the pod? Postgres pod. You can write your name. Label, as I said, label is customized, fully customized. Both key and value, both other type, all these are user defined. Other I am writing it as because of type. Last time for Nginx, I have mentioned as reverse proxy server. I have mentioned as type as database because it's a database. Specification. We should mention the information about the container. What is the name of the container? My Postgres is the name of the container which I want to create based on this image, Postgres image, and this image needs environment variables. Name, Postgres, password. I want to provide a value as Durga's of Postgres user, my user, Postgres database, my DB. That's it. This is the database pod which I'm creating. This is the database pod I'm creating. So I want to create a pod with the name Postgres pod definition 12.3. Let's do this. Let's create. Insert mode. Code is ready. Paste. Escape. Double save it. Command to run the definition file kubectl create. What's the name of the definition file? Post pod definition 12, right? Create pod. Pod created. To get the list of all the pods. Kubectl, every command starts with kubectl. Observe. Get pods. First, one pod is running. Age 13 seconds. To get the list of pods along with the nodes, on which node, O wide, we already have seen this. This particular pod is running on this particular node. Fine. Okay. To get more details, To get more details about the pod, kubectl describe command. Mention the name of the pod. What is the name of the pod we have created? Postgres pod. To get more information about the pod, look at the more information. Sorry, you cannot scroll up. So to overcome this problem, we have I plus command is used to get the page-wise information. Look at this name of the pod. By default, pod creates in the default namespace. Container ID. Every container will have container ID that is given by the Docker, right? Image which you have used, environment variables which you have used for this particular guy. Every information, more information like Docker inspect command will give you more information like this. Get more information when you write describe. Clear about this? Okay. Let's look at the third example. I want to create a Jenkins pod. As you know, we need to have 4 sections. First review the 4 sections. API version, kind, metadata, specification. V1, kind of the object which you are planning to create, pod, name of the pod, Jenkins pod, label, author is Durgasoft CI/CD, you can write it. Continuous integration, continuous specification. This pod should have a container. The name of the container is my Jenkins using the image called Jenkins image. Jenkins runs on default port number 8080. You need to map it. If you want to access it from the external, you need to map it from the container port. Is also called as host port. The container port is 8080. You need to map it to the clusters. Cluster mapping is called as host port. I'm mapping it to same port number 8080. Okay. So let's create this third definition file. Save and quit. If you want to run the pod, okay, if you already have seen how to run the kubectl create -f, you will mention the definition. You will run the pod, okay, pod gets created, but you want to access the pod from the external environment. For that, you need to open the port. Do you remember? We used to open the port. Here, what your port you need to open? 8080 port you need to open. This is the command to open the port. gcloud q compute firewall -rules create rule 1 rule name rule. This is the rule name. Rule name is rule 1. Allow TCP 8080. Whichever port you want, you can allow it. I want to allow 8080 port. So before running it, I want to open the port. Okay. Already port is already exist. Rule is already exist. Writing it as rule level. Rule name can be anything. Port is open. Run the definition file. Cube create -f. Name of the definition file pod definition -. Creating a definition file. What happens? Jenkins pod gets created. Fine. I want to know in which node the Jenkins is running. The Jenkins pod is running in this particular node. This is Postgres pod. This is Jenkins pod. It's running in this node. I want to open this. I want to take a note of this node. I want to take up the note of this node. Okay, ending with FGWT. Fine. I've taken a node. Take a token to take a note of the node. Next. How many nodes we are having in our cluster? Do you remember we have 3 nodes? To get the list of all the nodes from the terminal point of view, if you want to get the list of all the nodes, kubectl get nodes -o wide will have 3 nodes. If you just write just get nodes, that's enough. You get 3 nodes. Node 1, node 2, node 3. Our Jenkins pod is running in this node ending with FGWT. This is the node. Our Jenkins pod is running in this node. I want to get the public IP of this node because I want to access Jenkins public IP colon port number 8080 to access Jenkins. To get the public IP of the node, you need to get wide output. So this is our node, last node, FGWT, which is having an external IP. This is the public IP. This is an once I know the public IP, I can access it. Public IP colon 8080. As we have opened the port, are you getting the Jenkins page? Am I right? Are you able to access Jenkins pod? That means Jenkins container in refers to Jenkins pod. You're able to do it. This is how we can know the code pod, how to create a pod. You now know how to create a definition file. What are the elements which are available in the definition file? How can we create pod? Pod can contain containers. So where should we mention the information about the containers, and how can we perform port mapping? Like we have seen in the database pod, the environment variables. How can we perform port mapping? All this we have learned. And how can we access the pod from public? Clear? If you want to delete this pod, how many pods we are having? kubectl get pods. 2 pods we are having. Jenkins pod, Postgres pod. If you want to delete these pods, what is the name of the definition file which we have created? Pod definition 3. Pod belongs to this particular definition file, will be deleted. Just deleted. Get pods, only one pod. Postgres pod. I want to delete this one. What is the definition file? Pod definition file 12. Delete. Get pods, no pods. Get nodes. How many nodes? 3 nodes. Clear? Clear about this? How to deal with pods, creating the first component pod. So this is what I have planned for today's session. So please practice this. I'll mail you yesterday's notes as well as today's notes. I hope you have created a Google Cloud account, log in this experience how to create a pod. The next level of object is called as controller set. So that helps in load balancing. So we will see that in our next class, not tomorrow. Next class will be on Monday, where we'll see a few more components of Kubernetes. Okay. Any questions on today's session. So as I have missed you running notes, I'll be mailing you today also yesterday's notes as yesterday's notes. Okay. Thank you, Sai Teja. And I'll also check with the management to upload the recording also.
Yeah, sir. I will check
Okay.
it one more time.
Okay. You also please talk to management. Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
okay, sir.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Deba.
thank you.
Thank you for running. Yeah. Bye bye.